Florence is not just a city, it's the birthplace of the Renaissance, where art, history, and romance are woven into every street and stone. From world-famous masterpieces to charming cobblestone alleys, Florence feels like an open-air museum filled with timeless beauty. In this ultimate travel guide, discover why this Italian gem continues to inspire travelers, artists, and dreamers from around the world. 10. Piazza del Duomo, the living center of Florence. Florence begins in a place that feels almost unreal in its density of beauty, Piazza del Duomo. This square is not just a tourist attraction, it is the symbolic and spiritual center of the city, where religion, art, and engineering collide. Next to it stands Giotto's Campanile, a tall, elegant bell tower that frames the skyline, while the baptistery of San Giovanni completes the architectural triangle. Together, they form one of the most powerful visual ensembles in Europe. Standing here, surrounded by centuries of innovation, you immediately understand why Florence is called the birthplace of the Renaissance. 9. Florence Cathedral. Brunelleschi's revolutionary dome, the Florence Cathedral, is not only a religious structure, it is a breakthrough in human engineering. Before Brunelleschi, no one knew how to build a dome of such scale without collapsing inward. Inside the cathedral, the vast empty space feels almost overwhelming. Giorgio Vasari's fresco, The Last Judgment, covers the dome interior, depicting a dramatic vision of heaven and hell that stretches across the ceiling like a cosmic narrative. Climbing to the top of the dome is a journey through narrow staircases and ancient construction layers. When you finally emerge, Florence unfolds beneath you: terracotta rooftops, winding streets, and distant Tuscan hills glowing in soft light. 8. Uffizi Gallery. The origins of Western art. The Uffizi Gallery is not just a museum, it is the foundation of European art history. Walking through its corridors is like moving through the evolution of human creativity itself. Every room tells a shift in perspective, from medieval religious symbolism to human-centered Renaissance thought. The Uffizi is where art stopped being just spiritual expression and became intellectual exploration. Even the building itself, originally designed as administrative offices, reflects Renaissance urban planning and political structure. 7. Ponte Vecchio, a bridge built for romance and survival. The Ponte Vecchio is more than a bridge, it is a symbol of resilience and beauty. Built over the Arno River, it is lined with small jewelry shops that shimmer with gold, silver, and handcrafted designs. Unlike most bridges in Europe, it survived World War II because of its cultural importance, making it one of the oldest intact medieval bridges still in use today. At sunset, the bridge becomes magical. The reflection of golden light on the river, the sound of street musicians, and the slow movement of crowds create one of the most romantic scenes in Italy. 6. Palazzo Vecchio. Power, politics, and Renaissance authority. Palazzo Vecchio rises over Piazza della Signoria like a fortress of history. This was once the center of Florentine political life, where decisions shaped the destiny of the city-state during the Renaissance. Outside, the square acts as an open-air museum. Statues like Michelangelo's David replica, Perseus with the head of Medusa, and numerous classical sculptures represent Florence's deep connection to art and political identity. It is a place where governance and creativity were never separate. 5. Florence cuisine. Simplicity elevated to art. Florentine cuisine reflects the Tuscan philosophy: simplicity, quality, and authenticity. Food here is not about complexity, it is about perfect ingredients. The most famous dish is bistecca alla fiorentina, a thick-cut T-bone steak grilled over wood fire and seasoned only with salt, pepper, and olive oil. It is large, rustic, and deeply traditional. Even desserts like Cantucci biscuits dipped in Vinsanto wine reflect a connection between food and regional tradition. In Florence, every meal feels like a continuation of centuries-old culture. 4. Boboli Gardens' Renaissance landscape perfection. Behind the Pitti Palace lie the Boboli Gardens, one of the earliest examples of formal Italian garden design. This is where nature and geometry meet Renaissance philosophy. Long pathways, fountains, grottos, and classical statues are arranged with precise symmetry, reflecting the idea that nature can be shaped into art. From elevated terraces, you can see Florence stretching across the horizon. The gardens also served as inspiration for European royal parks, including Versailles. Boboli is not just a garden, it is a designed worldview. 3. Accademia Gallery. Michelangelo's David the Accademia Gallery is home to one of the most famous sculptures ever created, Michelangelo's David. Carved from a single block of marble, it represents human strength, intelligence, and ideal proportion. Standing before it in person creates a different experience than seeing it in images. The scale, detail, and emotional presence are overwhelming. Every muscle, vein, and expression reflects Michelangelo's deep understanding of anatomy and human potential. The unfinished sculptures nearby reveal something even more fascinating: the non-finito technique, where figures appear trapped inside marble, showing the artist's process of liberation through carving. 2. Tuscan streets' everyday Renaissance atmosphere. Florence is not only defined by its monuments, but by its everyday atmosphere. The streets are narrow, warm, and filled with golden light reflecting off stone buildings. Artisan workshops sell handmade leather goods, paper, and jewelry. Cafes spill onto sidewalks where locals and travelers share slow moments over espresso. Street musicians play classical pieces near bridges and squares, turning ordinary walks into cinematic experiences. Even simple movement through the city feels like walking inside a Renaissance painting. Florence does not demand attention, it naturally holds it. 1. Florence, the birthplace of human creativity at its core. Florence is not just a city, it is a turning point in human history. It is where art, science, philosophy, and architecture evolved into something new, human-centered thinking. The Renaissance began here, transforming how the world sees beauty, knowledge, and creativity. From Brunelleschi's dome to Michelangelo's sculptures, Florence represents the moment humanity started to redefine itself. Every street carries that legacy. Every building reflects that transformation. Florence is not frozen in history, it is history that continues to influence the present. From its breathtaking architecture to its rich artistic heritage and romantic atmosphere, Florence delivers an experience that feels both historic and deeply emotional. If you enjoyed this guide, like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more travel destinations, cultural insights, and unforgettable city explorations.